It's a very good evening and a warm welcome to Breeding to Win on the Sunday evening. Of course, we had a fantastic day out at Greyville yesterday with, of course, Champions Day, Gold Cup Day, and, of course, 12 races, 4 of which were Grade 1 events. We saw some spectacular racing and full marks to Gold Circle and their team as the curtain came down on the KwaZulu-Natal racing season. They certainly put a fantastic season together. We will be taking a look at some of those Grade 1 events a little bit later on. But right now, let's take a look at the stats from the National Horse Racing Authority as they stand with the champion, trainer, jockey and breeder of the season. Of course, we will be taking a look at the sire stats as well. But looking at the jockey stats, and once again, Samanga Khumalo topping our jockey's log for the first time in his career, and full marks to jockey Samanga Khumalo for walking away with champion jockey of the season. As we said before on the show, he has put in a lot of hard work behind the scenes. So congratulations to Samanga Khumalo. Another man who's had a great season, of course, winning the Vodacom Durban July with Legislate is Justin Snaith. And not only just Legislate, but all his horses have performed extremely well throughout the season. And well, Justin Snaith, it's the first championship for him and his team as well. So I'm sure he will be celebrating in style at the end of July. Well, the breeder stats, it's always a tight battle there between Summerhill and Clairwood Stud. And once again, it's going to go down to the wire. But two champion breeders once again in action, fighting out the battle for champion breeder of the season. Well, the sire stats, as you can see, nothing much has changed between the sire and the sire of the 2-year-olds this season.
Down last year, can all know. So number 14, All Is Secret, is victorious. Well Witcher.
And for the lads wanted.
Shay takes the lead. Shay wins the Elgos.
As promised, we said we'd bring you the highlights from yesterday's meeting out at Greyville. Let's take a look at how it all panned out for our top Grade 1 events.
Jurisdiction gets a beautiful split up the inside, and Carry On Alice down the centre of the course comes forward. Same jurisdiction, Carry On Alice. Banbury's on the inside, bilateral. Carry On Ellison, same jurisdiction, the last 100. Carry On Alice has her head in front. Same jurisdiction's trying to warm up. Bilaterals on the outside. Carry On Alice going to the line, same jurisdiction. Well, not going to split them. Carry On Ellison, same jurisdiction. Very, very close as they hit that winning post. Firehorse with 400 metres left to go. Angel makes his presence felt to the outside. Africa Burn. Harry Sun looks to run on. ML Jet needs a gap. He's going to come through 3 lengths to make up. Light the lights. Angel to the outside. Harry Sun's running on strongly towards the inside. Harry Sun and Light the lights. Angel hard up on the outside. Angel has his head in front. Harry Sun's coming home hard. Jay, it's absolutely flying. Maybe Harry Sun in a thriller. Harry Sun looking to do enough as they went over the post there. Runners were diving left, right and centre. Challengers making their way around. Sarissa, Canterbury Tail. Wild One towards the inside. Ash Cloud tries to come forward. Gothic's running on. Magic Smoke between them. Wave and Flag. Wild One hits the front. Ash Cloud's on the outside. Wave and Flag. Gold Onyx exploding through on the outside. Wave and Flag and Gold Onyx. Wave and Flag coming to torpedo them. Wave and Flag won it. Gold Onyx, Wild One and Photo second and third, but Wave and Flag has come roaring through. Brett Crawford, Glenn Hatt, what a season. Number 13 comes bursting through the pack for Messrs. Burgess, Grant Knowles, Labuschagne, The Longmores, Robinsons, Todds and Crawfords, wave and flag. He'll wave goodbye to this field.
Oh, fantastic. You know, you dream about having a runner on these type of days, never mind having a winner on a Group 1, but it's another initiative from the Grooms Co-ops as well. This was a co-op horse that we couldn't place and ended up syndicating him, so a lovely story.
Besanova, the first one to challenge. Futura down the inside. Ready to go right now. Pomodoro and Blaze of Fire. And the leader, No Worries. Now Futura starts to warm up. And Futura's coming home stoutly now. And it's Futura from No Worries. Besanova, King of Pain. But Futura goes. And Futura will win the Beach Beauty Champions Cup from King of Pain, No Worries, and Ready to Go right now.
Brett, what a day's turned out for you.
Yeah, Dees. I mean, to be quite honest, this horse I thought ran an absolute cracking race in the July, and it's not often that you would run a 3-year-old so quick after a race like the July. But I said to Jack and Ian and John that he had just come out the July so well, and I really felt it would be a waste if we didn't run him here. I was very confident today. Although his merit rating said he couldn't win, I wasn't worried about that. He's the most improving horse in the country, and he showed it today. So just a big thanks to everyone, a big thanks to Glenn and all his effort he's put in the season, to my wife and family as well. Big thanks to everyone.
Well, the 6th renewal of the Asian Young Guns this year is taking place at Clairwood Racecourse on the 2nd of August. It's an event held for top apprentice riders from Asia and the Oceania, and of course South Africa is taking part in that as well. It is my pleasure to welcome into the studio on the Sunday evening on our Breeding to Win show Gary Waterston, who is the riding master of the South African Jockeys Academy in Gauteng. And Gary, you've been a frequent visitor on our Breeding to Win show in the past, so great to have you back with us tonight.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invite.
Well, just tell us a little bit about this event and, of course, the South African riders that will be participating in on the 2nd of August.
Well, I think the event started, I think the first one was 2011. JP van der Merwe went across to Australia, and I think it was Victoria Racing in Australia that started the program going, and they called it the Asian Young Guns. And from there, it's opened up doors for South Africa to be invited. And I must say we're very proud this year to be the host of the Asian Young Guns at Clairwood, which is our final race meeting at Clairwood as they're closing down.
You know what, I'm glad you're in the studio tonight to actually chat about this, because Clairwood Racecourse was one of the first racecourses I was actually allowed to attend, because when I was at school, you'll know from those days, there were no under 18s allowed on the racetrack here on the Highveld. And the only place we could actually go to a racetrack was in KZN. And I remember Clairwood Charlie as the mascot of Clairwood Racecourse. I mean, Clairwood Racecourse has been going for 93 years, Gary, and it was a superb racetrack to race on. So you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh yes, no, so it was a wonderful track to race on. It still is. And unfortunately, I didn't race too many times at Clairwood. As when I started my apprenticeship, my first year, I already had gone back to Zimbabwe. And when I moved to South Africa, I rode a couple of times. A lovely track to ride on, very true track to race. And very sad that we're going to lose a racecourse like that.
Before we get on to the apprentices that will be taking part and representing South Africa and Mauritius on the 2nd of August, just tell us a little bit about the criteria that is involved in selecting these apprentices.
Well, we take the top apprentice. What we do is from the 3rd of August to when we get the invite, we take the top apprentice from that time.
So obviously from the 3rd of August last year?
Yes.
Okay, to
when the invite is sent to us. Then we look at it, and then that's how we pick what apprentice will be representing South Africa.
Well, the pressure is on the South Africans and the Mauritians, who are sitting right next to me in the very next chair. And I'm going to welcome into the studio, starting with our champion apprentice here in South Africa this season, Akash Aucharuz. A very good evening to you, Akash, and welcome to Breeding to Win for the very first time.
Good evening, Jules, and thank you for the invite.
Okay, now, Craig, you've also been selected, but you will be representing South Africa and Franklin as well. So good evening to you two gentlemen as well, you young guns.
Thanks, Julie. Evening to you too.
Okay, well, Akash, now firstly, let's just quickly talk about the season that you've had, because you've won the Champion Apprentice. And, I mean, you've had to work really hard to get there. Tell us what it means to you.
It's a great field, you know. It was my aim to try to win the Champion Apprentice this year, and I'll make it happen. So it took really hard working to do this.
And obviously you need the support from the trainers, and you only get that by riding winners.
Yes, for sure. You know, definitely you can't do it without the support of the trainers and without our support of our riding master.
Now, you're the second apprentice that has really come through from Mauritius to win the South African Champion Apprentice title, the first being Naresh Juglal. So you must be a little bit of a hero in Mauritius.
Well, I don't know. I haven't been in Mauritius for long, so when I go, I'll find out.
Well, when you go back, I think you are going to be a little bit of a hero over there. And of course, now that you are representing Mauritius for these young guns, it must be a proud moment for you as well to represent your own country.
Yes, it is, of course. You know, it's my first time representing and riding against overseas apprentices. I'm very excited, and thanks to Mauritius Turf Club for giving me this opportunity.
Craig, obviously you've been selected because you've been riding so well, especially since you since you moved up to Johannesburg. I have to say your riding almost turned over, and the winners started coming as well. You obviously put in a lot of hard work to be part of the Young Guns Challenge.
Yes, Julie, I got the support I needed to do what I did. And yeah, I must say it's a privilege and honor to represent South Africa in such an event, and I think it's going to be a great one to watch and to ride in.
Also, I mean, you're seeing the other apprentices from all different countries coming through. It must be quite exciting seeing, well, you know, can I beat the guys from Hong Kong and Singapore and Macau, and to actually see what level your riding is at.
Yes, I think that's the best part, to see your ranking against them and just all of them top apprentices, and us being nominated to ride against them, it's a privilege, like I said.
Absolutely. Okay, Franklin, now this is not new to you because you actually represented South Africa in France last year. So you know more or less what it takes to win these type of races, because you actually won a race in France on a rank outsider. I remember doing an interview with you last year. So just, do you like go into these races now with a little bit more confidence, knowing what you're taking on?
I think I go with the same confidence that I'm going in the last time. And it's not, I wasn't on the rank outside, I was actually on the favorite.
Were you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was on the favorite on that day, and yeah, came home, and I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Waterston for selecting me there also. And yeah, everything's going well so far.
And obviously a privilege for you to be part of the team as well.
Yes, it's a privilege to be part of being, so not my first time, like you said. I was in France and I went against all the Japan guys. There were Germany, Italy, and France people that boys were riding against. And it was very nice experience. So it's not like I'm, like, how can I say, blind going into this race, but I'm actually going with an open eye, and just to challenge the other guys from overseas. It's very nice.
Now, obviously, you guys are at an advantage because you started your apprenticeship in KwaZulu-Natal. So you actually know the Clairwood track pretty well, where the other guys that are going to be flying out to South Africa don't actually have a clue.
Yes, my first winner was at Clairwood. So
yeah. You know the track very well?
Yes, not very well, but I'll say that's my favorite track in Durban.
Okay, obviously a soft spot for you. And
yes.
Yeah, it must be a sad moment when we see the curtain come down at Clairwood after the last race on the 2nd of August. But Craig, you did quite a few years of your apprenticeship in KwaZulu-Natal, and you did ride in a lot of races out at Clairwood. How would you reckon the track is?
No, Julie, since I was selected, I had that in the back of my mind all the time. Knowing the track, they wouldn't know the track that well, and I just hope I get the right horses, and I'm sure I'll do well with them on the track.
Now, Cash, have you ridden in Durban before?
Yes, a few times.
A few times, but have you ridden at Clairwood?
At Clairwood.
Okay, so you have ridden at Clairwood, so you also know the track. It's
Yes,
not like you've been thrown into the deep end over here again.
No, I did lovely second there, so I know that. But
so you know, hey? So all three of you are going into the challenge with high hopes, with lots of confidence, and obviously just getting something under your sleeve, saying, well, we know exactly what these things are going to be like. But another important thing in a race is pace, and you don't know your other competitors. You're not quite sure how they're going, because they don't know the horses either. I mean, you might get a horse that you don't know, and you're going to get instructions from the trainers and the connections of those horses. But do you think pace is a huge thing in a race?
Yes, it is a very huge thing in a race. Overseas tracks, they go very fast, and Clairwood is also a galloping track. So we don't know how the pace will be on. The trainers will tell us our instructions, but you can't want to do the same instructions your trainer gives you, because you always have to have a plan B and a plan C. So we'll take it from there when the gates open.
Very good answer. Well done. And also, because you've ridden against the international guys before, Franklin, you actually know that they do make a strong pace in a race.
Yes, not all of them will go like a slow pace. The boys will have different perspectives from their paces, because where they ride, they'll maybe go slow or they'll go fast. And it depends on how the pace is, and the fittest horse will always win, or the one that was right placed, and yeah, he'll come home.
Well, let's hope you guys all do well, and we will be hoping for the South Africans. But we've also got a very soft spot for you, Akash. Even though you're representing Mauritius in the Young Guns, we will be hoping that you do have a win or two.
Thank you, Gia.
Okay, well, Gary, just coming back to that, because, I mean, these are the future of South Africa.
Yes.
Julius Maribo represented the Young Guns last year in New Zealand, and he actually dead heated for second.
Yes, he rode a winner and I think a couple of places. He did it very well, but unfortunately he was a bit short on points to win it. But finishing second was a good result, travelling across to New Zealand.
And it was the first time he actually travelled overseas, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, the time changed. To travel that, it's a far way, first time overseas. I mean, it's a huge change for them. So for him to have ridden and done so well, I think it's a huge feather in the South African Jockeys Academy's cap, and especially yours.
Thank you. Now, it is hard travelling overseas. I mean, if you take France, it's 9 and 10 and a half hours, and Abu Dhabi is 4, and we always seem to go one day early. That's our plan when we travel. We try and go one day early just to recover, and then we spend the rest of the week when we do travel overseas, walking the course and relaxing and going to track in the morning. So I think getting a day early does help us when we travel overseas for the hours we sit on a plane.
Just looking how the selectors how do the apprentices get to know which horses they're riding? How does that all work? Is it done by draw, or do the trainers select which riders that like on the horse? How does it work?
Well, I believe it is going to be a draw, which I think that's the only fair way to have it. We've learnt overseas, when we've gone overseas, to have a draw, and it's fair to everybody. And I think that's the only way to do it, is a draw.
Well, thanks to you, Gary, for your time coming into the studio, and always for doing such a great job with these youngsters. I know we see you on the track. You keep them right under your thumb. I know you take them into the boardroom every time they've not listened to instructions or have done something wrong. So full marks to you, because I think you're bringing them along the right way.
Thank you very much.
And thanks to Gary, and of course thanks to our 3 guests that will be representing South Africa and Mauritius, our champion apprentice, Akash Aucharuz. We wish you all the very best, Akash. And I know you're going to be trying your heart out for Mauritius, but you're still one of our boys. Craig, thank you for joining us as well. We will be holding thumbs for you and for Franklin, and thank you guys for joining us here on the Breeding to Win show.
Thank you.
We'll be back after a short break.
New Turf Carriers is a family-run business owned by Mark and Dory Sham and their 3 sons, Michael, Matthew and Marcus. New Turf Carriers has been in long-distance transport since 1995 and pride themselves in excellent service, punctuality and loyalty to their clients. Every single stud farm and every single sale to every single racecourse, New Turf Carriers pride themselves in delivering your horse safely. The welfare of your horse is paramount, and it is to this end that we have our own midway stop between Johannesburg and Cape Town. This is situated at Colesberg, where we have a stabling facility for 60 horses, so that the horses on long trips can get off and have a rest during their journey. The bottom line is, New Turf Carriers take your horse from door to door with pride, passion and punctuality.
Well, our first of our stallion profiles on Breeding to Win this evening is Pathfork, managed by no other than John Freeman. Now, Pathfork was the champion Irish 2-year-old of his career. He won at 2 over 7 furlongs, 3 out of 3, and was undefeated. He now stands at Highlands. Let's take a look at Pathfork's stallion profile.
Pathfork was undefeated at 2 years in Ireland to become the highest-rated 2-year-old in Ireland in 2010. And with an official Timeform rating of 120, he was one of the top 5 rated 2-year-olds of his year in the world. He broke his maiden in July by 4 lengths, easing up over 7 furlongs. His second start in August took him to the Group 2 Galileo Futurity Stakes, which he won by 1.5 lengths, also over 1,400 metres on firm ground.
And Pathfork from Glornamara, a break then to High Ruler and Samuel Morse. But Pathfork is digging deep for Franberry, and Pathfork will make it 2 out of 2, wins the Galileo Futurity.
He went back to the Curragh a month later with yet another step up in class to win the Group 1 Vincent O'Brien National Stakes, despite the race being run on ground unsuited to his smooth ground-saving action.
Pathfork and Franberry, Casamento on the near side, Declan McDonough, they're inside the last 100 yards. Pathfork is 3 parts of a length to spare. He's going to keep his unbeaten record. Pathfork and Franberry win it for Jessica Harrington.
Timeform said he won in the style of a horse who has plenty of improvement still in him, leading on the bridle over a furlong out and in no danger afterwards to win from Sheikh Mohammed's Glornamara. Here, he again took on an illustrious field, which included Zoffany and Casamento. He was crowned Irish champion 2-year-old, undefeated in his 3 starts at 2 years. Standing 16.1 hands high, Pathfork is a classy, big, strong, attractive stallion and a very smart mover. A respected Irish horseman said of his movement, "It's enough to send shivers up your spine. He moves like a leopard." The team that acquired Pathfork said they had been searching for a stallion of his pedigree and racing class for a very long time. Syndicate manager John Freeman said of Pathfork, "He is the sort of horse you dream about buying. And suddenly, you are in the right place at the right time with the right connections, and you get lucky enough to be able to get the right team together to buy him." The whole deal fell into place overnight, and we were able to beat rival bidders at the post, said Freeman, who also syndicated and manages Dynasty at Highland Stud Farm. Jessica Harrington, during an interview with John, heaped praise on her former champion. She got him as an early 2-year-old and said that he was a very straightforward horse right from the start and just got on with his business. His class was evident from the first time we worked him. A very easy mover, always 100% sound, and the most beautiful walker, magnificently conformed. Wonderfully relaxed horse, even a child could ride him. Pathfork is the first son of champion sire Distorted Humour to come to SA, and he hails from one of the top Niarchos families, known for precocity and soundness. Distorted Humour is the sire of 16 Grade 1 winners and over 125 stakes winners globally. His dam, Visions of Clarity, is a stakes-winning 3-part sister to Spinning World. Top-rated 3-year-old miler in Ireland in 1996. Champion older miler in Europe in 1997. He won 8 races from 2 to 4 years, including 4 Group 1 races. From just 545 live foals, he has sired an incredible 41 individual stakes winners, including 8 Group 1 winners and an impressive 64.5% winners to runners. All of Pathfork's first 3 dams are stakes winners, and 2 of them have Group 1 form of their own. All of the first 3 dams have produced a Group 1 winner and/or a champion. Pathfork hails from the same family as champion sires Nijinsky II, Northern Guest, El Gran Señor, Try My Best, Redoubt's Choice, and The Minstrel, to name but a few. His pedigree is rated A++ by Trumix. Breeders are raving about his first yearlings that will be on sale in 2015. He stands at Highland Stud Farm and is managed by John Freeman.
Well, the second stallion we're going to look at on tonight's show is a horse close to my heart, and that, of course, is Warm White Knight. He's by Western Winter, but he was out of a dam I was closely connected to, and that, of course, was Thousand Night. She was unbeaten in her first 5 outings to the track and is a dam of 3 Grade 1 winners. I think, my personal opinion, Warm White Knight will make it as a stallion. Let's take a look at him as he stands at Clairwood Stud.
White Knight comes into the lead. Cerise Cherry to try and make a race of it as they come inside the distance. Warm White Knight is digging down. Cerise Cherry on the outside. Warm White Knight being flat to the boards out here. Warm White Knight shakes the ground beneath him. Cerise Cherry a big run in second.
Villainry's downside. Outside of runners, Casey Cooler's getting going. Warm White Knight is down the inside. And outside of runners, Blue Tiger is coming home full of running. Warm White Knight has hit the front. Blue Tiger flying. Warm White Knight from Blue Tiger. Thunder Key and hear the drums.
Warm White Knight. We'd heard reports of a flying machine from Charlie Laird's yard. Connections entered him into a Grade 3 event first time out. Warm White Knight burst onto the racing scene in no uncertain terms by trouncing the field by 4 3/4 lengths. Next up was the Group 2 nursery, where he again overpowered the field, beating the same rival who went on to achieve international success in graded company in Hong Kong. His strength was the brilliant speed that he possessed. And so the next start mapped out for him to ensure that he had stallion status was the Grade 1 gold medallion at Scottsville. The now very familiar and increasingly popular broad white face and long white socks flew home at Scottsville that day, and we knew then he would have a stable available for this handsome horse at the barn here at Clairwood. The arrival of his first foals last year has brought much admiration from breeders who supported him in his first season. Fortune favors the brave in the 3rd season of a stallion. Good looks and precocious early speed is a certainty for sales ring success in this game, so set on quick returns. This multiple Group 1 winning stallion has all these ingredients. Be brave, go big, reward will follow.
On Wednesday evening, the Cape Breeders Club held a stallion services auction at Klein Palazzi in Worcester. The Breeding to Win team were out and about, and this is what they put together for us. Let's take a look.
It's fantastic to see a tremendous turnout once again this year. So thank you to all of you for turning up tonight. It's been a phenomenal year of exciting racing. I have a number of thank yous that I need to make, first of all. To our guest speaker, who has flown down all the way from Joburg, Mike de Kock, thank you for being here. Then very importantly, to our stallion owners and managers, who so generously donate services for the functionality of our club. Without your support and without your encouragement, our club cannot function. In finishing, according to the NHRA log of the 21st of the 7th, 2014, 9 of the top 10 stallions are Cape-based. And the first 8 positions are filled by Cape stallions. So ladies and gentlemen, if that doesn't give you the confidence to put your hand up tonight, then I don't know what will. Please have a fantastic evening. Thank you very much.
All right, 30, 20, 10, start.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
I must be honest, I'm really flattered and honored to be here tonight to address you. As many of you know, I'm proudly and passionately South African. I've had many opportunity and offers to leave this country and to apply my trade abroad. But quite frankly, there is just no place like this, and I'm not being paid to say that either. And you know, while sometimes we can get disappointed by international results, we have actually been hugely successful. If one thinks of just a couple of horses last year, the Apache, who won a Group 1 in America and unfortunately was taken away, and probably quite justified so, but he probably would have won anyway. Shay, who failed by a head and a neck in 2 Group 1s, for a country that breeds, I don't know, 2,200 horses a year and competes in Europe where there are 50, 60, 70,000 horses bred a year. I think we've done extremely well. We've made our presence felt, and I know that people sit up and look at South African horses. But if one thinks of what these horses are required to go through, I think it is truly remarkable, and I know that people do admire South African breeding and do admire South African horses for what they go through and to where they get. They're hardy, strong, and competitive at a level that we are. It's almost beyond comprehension. You know, it's hard to express in words what I feel, because I know that the South African thoroughbred is capable of doing it. If we think of the few horses that breed in this country and how competitive they are, we are really undersold. And as I said, you know, we could turn things inside out if we just got this whole protocol sorted out. It's not a time now to be backing off from this. Dr. Sanna has been charged with it, and he's doing an unbelievable job. The time is right now for us to make our presence felt, to back the people that have new initiatives, like Dr. Sana, and to get behind him and to make sure it happens. I'd like to mention one horse in particular, because he was subject of a huge offer in Dubai, and that's a horse called Sanshawis, who was possibly just below the best in South Africa, went to Dubai, won a few races, was equally competitive on 2 surfaces. But the week of the World Cup, we received a $2 million offer for him. I mean, that's 20 million rand for the gelding, 4 years old, who is way below his best. Unfortunately, he's owned by a man that doesn't need the cash like myself and not over. But, you know, obviously the offer was refused. But just to illustrate what the South African thoroughbred can be worth, we don't need to stand back for anybody in this industry around the world. So, I mean, this is your evening, this is your night, and I don't want to hold you up anymore, but to say that applaud yourselves, pat yourselves on the back. You do an unbelievable job, and I'm privileged to train the horses that you produce. Thank you.
160,000 selling, for 160 going, for 160.
What an amazing event. And these are not events you find in many other places in the world. Just 1.2 million rand, something like that, raised for charity on the back of what is in effect a thriving stallion industry here in the Western Cape.
You represent a couple of the stallions and they seem to go pretty well?
Yeah, we were pleased with what happened. Some of them are new horses and people are not going to throw huge money at them. What we want to do here is see somebody spending money which goes to charity at a reasonable level that makes our horses look okay.
Grant, it's been a phenomenal evening thus far. It never ceases to amaze me, the support that we get and the generosity of this industry. And firstly, to the stallion owners and the managers that have supported the club in putting up these services, and then the purchasers, the chaps that actually put their hands up. They're incredibly generous, and we are eternally thankful for that.
I think it's a wonderful venue. It's growing every year, and the way they've made this shed look pretty is amazing. So great turnout, yeah.
You sold 2 stallions, they both were pretty well received.
Very happy, actually. VAR's obviously full, so he would obviously sell for a bit more. But every year we get great support, and I think it's amazing how the people come to the party. And some of these stallions are not full, and they're still buying them for proper money. So good to everybody, yeah.
Well, I'm great that we bought a service to Oratorio, which is great for us. We love to support the Cape Stallions. They've got some top stallions at the moment, and that's one of the reasons why we came down, and we're here for the sale for tomorrow to have a look at the broodmares.
In terms of Beckwith, though, you've had quite a good season as well, haven't you?
We have. Yeah, we've done well this year. We only have a small band of mares, small number of runners, but our stats are very good. And we had a fantastic sale, national yearling sale. First horse we sold for $1 million, so we're very chuffed.
If you want to get anywhere in this game, you've got to support the best.
Well, you've got a nice band of broodmares growing as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. I've got about 45 broodmares now, and maybe tomorrow that gets to 50. Who knows? But you know, it's also a bit of a numbers game, so you've got to have the broodmares. Otherwise, you know, you're dead and buried. Yeah.
Great camaraderie here around the breeders, though.
Cape breeders are funny people. They get together. In the racetrack we want to beat each other, but race days, functions like this, we're all good friends. So yeah, good vibe here.
Let's quickly just touch on what the Cape breeders might be using with the money, because they do a lot of things for the breeders and to actually do a lot of training as well.
Well, Grant, our main focus is grooms education, and we're driving hard to educate grooms on the farms. We're in the process of it. We've got through to module 2. We started a new group on module 1, and this education is there to continue. Our aim is to make this long term. And with that education, hopefully some of them can grow into positions of responsibility, uplift their own families. That's our main aim. Part of it, we want to give back to our stallion owners. We arrange Group 1 gold mine for them. True Nix is now coming on board. there are a number of different things that we are trying to do, and obviously we hold various functions through the year. We try and balance between the serious nature of the business and also having a bit of fun with it.
Gavel House is the leading website for trading horses online. Selling your racehorse, mare or even a share in a yearling is so easy on Gavel House. You can browse our sires directory to match the best mating for your mare, with text description, videos and up-to-date sires reports. Gavelhouse.com is the best way to sell your horse. We reach places others can't, where buyers and sellers deal direct and pay no commission. Go to gavelhouse.com.
Well, the first of the 2 horses on offer from Gavel House this evening is a 2012 filly called Free Flyer. There's a 10% share on offer for only 6,726 Rand. She's by Noordhoek Flyer out of Dual Alley. Now, Free Flyer is a yearling with Alistair Gordon, bought at the Natal yearling sales, and her dam Dual Alley has had 6 winners from 9 runners. If you are interested in getting involved in Free Flyer, contact Alistair Gordon. The other horse on offer is 7th Symphony, now by 7th Rock out of Ocean News. She's a 2011 filly and there's a 25% share on offer for 50,000 Rand. It's the last share available in this classy filly, and you can contact Louis Gerson in Gauteng. Thank you for joining us on the Breeding to Win show this evening for the last show, by the way, of the 2013-2014 racing season. We will be back with more Breeding to Win for our new season on the 3rd of August. Join us then from the Breeding to Win team and myself, Julia Alexander. Good night.